Hi, welcome to Naima Creates. I'm Naima, and today I am creating special request by one of my followers, Noor Sayed. Thank you, Noor, on my Aladdin video. Avatar, the Last Airbender themed bullet journal for this month, which is really exciting. I actually just finished rewatching the show on Netflix, and I did not remember how deep it was. I was crying. It was so good, so many times. So to start off with, I tried to mimic a little bit of the font that was used for the title poster. I used one of the calligraphy brushes, so that allowed it to have that sweeping motion. You can just use a paintbrush dipped in black ink just to mimic that kind of writing style. And then I drew the circle there with the 4 elements as General Iroh does when he's explaining them to Prince Zuko. So I just drew those in, used that same calligraphy brush to make a big circle around it, and carried on my way. I wanted to keep things a little bit simple this month because sometimes it can be a lot of drawing, but this I thought was really good. So for the habit trackers, I have the blue arrows as Avatar Aang has on his body. So I drew them in with pencil, just using the guide marks in the bullet journal with the little grid spacing, just one across each. And then did the same thing with the marker back over the ruler. The ruler did get some of the ink on it, so I quickly just wiped it off out my scrap paper at the back of my bullet journal. So I've added in each habit that I'm tracking along the side, and then just on every 7 days I just wrote in the date and the number. That way I don't have to write it out repeatedly over and over, Monday the 1st, Tuesday the 2nd, so on and so forth for 30 days, but I'll still get the gist. And I'm planning to, as I go through it, each day that I don't do something, just cross it out. That way I'm not confused, where am I in the month, right? So on this side, I decided to make my thoughts page with the lotus flower. I was just really inspired and moved by General Iroh, I guess, so a bunch of the little doodles are based off of him. So of course we have the lotus flower for the secret society, and I thought that was, a good way of representing the thoughts that I may have in my head during the month. Other bullet journalers call this the brain dump page. I just don't really like the term brain dump for some reason. I just prefer it's just my thoughts. Let's just keep it simple. So looked at the drawing online, traced that out. You might have seen earlier that little thing that I had over the page, the yellow thing, just like my poop emoji handheld vacuum. So I use that to vacuum up all my pencil erasings, which is great. So I used the same calligraphy brush once again to fill in this circle for the tile, erased my pencil markings, and then I just went back in with a lighter color. So if you look at the tile online, it's a dark brown on the outside, and then these parts I'm coloring in gray. It's a bit of a lighter brown, and then of course the white lotus flower, but I wanted to keep it just kind of monochromatic. I just thought I just like the way it looked, so that's what I did. But you can obviously do it however you want. If you want to do the same exact colors as they are on the show, then go for it, absolutely. So now for the weekly spreads, I decided to change it up a bit from what I usually do. So I have my month at the top left corner, as I always do, but I decided to use that entire bottom column as I guess a monthly spread. I never really see the point of a monthly spread, but I decided to add it in here just in that simple way. So if any events come up, I can just jot them in. I have the whole month right there, month at a glance, and refer back to my earlier pages from the very, very beginning of my bullet journal with my year at a glance, and fill in any little dates and events that come in. So what I did just there is I just took the next page over, measured it based on where I had the first arrow, and then just cut straight up along the line so I'd have this little flap. So what I'm going to do is each section is going to be a different week. I find that I don't necessarily need so much space to write out all my tasks during the month. For each day, I don't necessarily have 10 things that I'm doing. So I don't think that this will really be a huge problem. And if it is, then, I'll just add some of it to another day when I have less things going on. I mean, it's just for my own personal usage. I remember that's what I always say in I think every single video is it doesn't matter. Don't be stressed about it. You're just doing it for yourself to keep yourself organized and just making it artistic to have a little bit of fun and pizzazz, right? So do whatever makes you feel comfortable. So I decided to make each week represent a different element. So I have the water element there, colored it in light blue in the background, and then used that same marker to draw in the different, what would you call it? The symbol. So we start off with the water symbol with the waves, and of course, as I always say, once again, look at reference photos. I didn't just like take this from memory and go from there. I had a reference photo up on my screen and then I was drawing based off of that. So started off with the water bending, then we have the earth tribe on the other side, and I'm just filling it in. So obviously the marker that you're using, as you go back over it, the ink is going to get darker, so that's no problem. So flipped over the little flap and had the airbenders and then the firebenders, and I tried to make the placement of the numbers and the text a little bit different on each one, just to sort of represent the same image from the beginning, like what General Iroh was trying to say in that scene to Zuko, is that they're different but they're also related, right? So each one has its own slightly different thing going on, but they're still very similar. So that's basically it. Just wanted to give you the final close-ups so you can also see a better representation of what the colors look like and how the paper looks. One thing that does, I guess, suck about the Leuchtturm bullet journal, which is what I'm using, which is the most popular one, I think, is that you do have a lot of the ghosting. So it doesn't really bleed through that much, but you definitely do see some of the darker colors from the previous pages. So I think in January I might change it up to a different one. We'll see, but for now this is working for me. I'm not having any major problems with it. I'm enjoying it. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that it helped you, inspired you to maybe think of what you want to design for your own bullet journal for the month. Just let me know in the comments what you want to see next. If there's another movie that you're interested in seeing a design for, I'd be happy to do one for you. All right. Thank you so much. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.